Hello there, this is James. Thank you for joining me. This session is kind of a tricky little intuitive nice little session because we're going to talk about exercise intensity. And the first point I really want to kind of drive home with you is that the concept of intensity is crucial to effective training. Okay, so we are interested in understanding a concept of exercise intensity because that is going to make our fitness training and our fitness training methods extremely effective. So we need to think first and foremost that intensity is one pillar or one key feature of effective training. And we can actually, and we're going to look at this later on, so don't worry too much about this for now, but we're actually going to look at the concept of the FIT principle in future sessions. And the I of intensity is 1/4, one component of the FIT principle, which is one of the central principles of training. So just understand that for now. If you're interested for now, it's frequency, time, and type are the other three. So more of that a bit later on. But for now, I want you to realise, let me draw this, I want you to realise that heart rate, I'm always bad at drawing hearts, that heart rate, boom, 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 heart rate is really, really closely linked to exercise intensity, is closely linked to exercise intensity. So I want you to think about this. I don't think it's going to come as any surprise to you. Many of you, for example, will have a heart rate monitor on your phone or on your Fitbit or these sorts of things, but you will understand that heart rate is closely linked to exercise intensity. Basically, what we're saying there is if your heart rate is higher, it means that the intensity of exercise is higher, and it's a pretty direct correlation or a direct relationship. But we want to know specifically, how do we calculate max HR? Now, just bear in mind that some people refer to it as HR max, and that is our maximum heart rate. Okay, so that is the potential of our heart to go through systole or contraction a number of times per minute. And we want to know what is the maximal value for an individual, because once we know that, it becomes useful for us. And I'd like you guys to memorize this ever so crucial equation, which is 220 beats per minute minus the age of the performer equals heart rate max. So let's look at a couple of examples of what we could come up with then. Well, we could say, for example, okay, let's think about someone who might be taking part in this tutorial. Let's say that we've got the figure of 220, which we've taken from here, of course, and we're going to take the age away of, let's say we've got a 16-year-old dancer. A 16-year-old dancer or dancer, depending on which part of the country you live in. So we have got 220, and we're going to take away the age of that performer, and that is 16, and that of course is going to give us a maximum heart rate of not so surprising, 204. Now I'm going to say, first of all, 204 is not enough. We want to be specific. 204 beats per minute. We must put that in there. Now, let's look at a second performer. Let's imagine, it's hard for me to imagine this kind of person really in my life, but let's imagine that we've got a 40-year-old. What should we make this person? Let's make them, I don't know, let's make them an online PE teacher. 40-year-old online PE teacher. Just imagine. It's hard. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but you get the idea. Well, of course, this is going to be a different situation. We're going to have maximum of 220 minus the age, which is 40, equals max heart rate for this person of 180 beats per minute. So at least theoretically, that is going to be the maximum heart rate that this person can get up to. Now, sometimes one can get past that. Never mind. Last point from me on this one. I also want you to think really carefully that what we're going to do next in the very next session is I'm interested in establishing a percentage of max heart rate. So for example, if we take this 16-year-old dancer, we've got 204 beats per minute as a maximum, we can calculate percentages of that maximum heart rate, and that can give us actually a sort of an indication of how hard the performer should be working. But we also want to summarize by saying percentage of maximum heart rate is different for different ages. Now, that is not to say that the percentage is different, but for example, if we were to look at 85% of 204, it's going to be a different number to 85% of 100. and 80. And we're going to explore that concept in the very next session. Thanks.